Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and it is in fact the final few minutes of the show. But don't worry, because I'm here to keep you company for the next 11 minutes. Because it's 8:49 a.m. here in London, and I will keep you updated with more of conversation. I will keep you updated with the latest conversation as well. So don't actually forget to be a part of the show. Share your thoughts, share your opinions with us as well. Okay. Now you can actually get in touch with me. All you need to do is just text me on 07852473473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, let me know what you are thinking. And obviously something else that you can do is actually to go follow us on our socials, right? Now if you go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, you can actually be a part of the show. You can always be updated about the very latest. And obviously don't forget to go subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that way you can actually make sure that you are always listening and watching the very latest news, and everyone here actually make sure that you understand what exactly is going on in the United Kingdom with all of the very latest news, right? So, Relax Radio is a place for you to be tuned if you want to stay updated, if you want to stay informed, because that is what our job is. We want to prioritize you and make sure you get the very latest news and the best of everything. All right, that is what we're here for. And don't forget to download our app either, because that is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you need to do is just head on over to the Play Store or the App Store, then go type Relax Radio and download the app, and you can listen in from anywhere while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. So it's absolutely amazing as well. And don't forget to do that. And now let's actually head back into our conversation, because we're talking about, we're talking about the climate policies that the United Kingdom has, and how here in the United Kingdom we're actually spending much more money on policies that actually contribute to pollution than actually to preserving the environment. All right, so that is what we're currently talking about. All right, now to very simply put it, what some analysis have found is that the UK government is actually spending so much more on measures that will actually increase greenhouse gas emissions in comparison to money they spend on diverting or tackling the climate crisis, right? And this is just analysis from the spring budget. Okay, so according to an analysis that was done by the conservation charity WWF, about 145 million in the March 2021 budget was actually devoted to environmental spending, and most of it was actually on the post Brexit emissions and the trading scheme for that industry. And that was basically what was happening. But the truth is, the cost of tax breaks for companies that encourage this kind of investment came to actually about 34 billion, right? However, even though that's the case of the tax breaks, we've only spent 124 million, or rather 145 million on policies that actually help to protect our environment. Now, Isabella O'Dood, who happens to be the head of the climate at WWF, actually showed how there is, or rather, she said that this spring budget actually just shows the disconnect that's there between the government's rhetoric and the reality of what exactly it's doing, right? Because look, sure, we've heard them say, look, you know what, we want to protect the planet, we want to make sure that we take care of the planet, and we want to cut down or tackle the emissions, tackle the climate crisis. However, when it actually comes to doing that, we don't really see them. We don't really see them taking any of these measures. We don't really see the United Kingdom government actually taking the actions that they need to take to tackle the climate crisis. And if anything, the IPCC report that was released on Monday should be reason enough for us to actually make that change, right? Because we've seen the impacts of climate change, right? We've seen the catastrophic effects of climate change. Because to be honest, something that I read in the IPCC report, and something that was stuck in my head and has been stuck in my head for the longest time, is that all of these flash floods, all of these forest fires, all of these heat waves, they could have been prevented. They were directly influenced by climate change. They were a direct impact of climate change. So if climate change is setting our planet on fire, if climate change is causing flooding, if climate change is causing heat waves, then I think we really don't need to be given much more evidence for us to finally make that change. However, like I said, there's a disconnect between what the government is saying and what the government is actually doing, right? So that is why it's more important than ever before for the government to actually sort of pull up its socks and say, you know what, we're going to make these changes. We're going to make sure that make the necessary changes to help save the planet. So that is what it is. Now, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to keep talking more about this. But until then, obviously, make sure you stay tuned.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show, only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you. Welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on the sunrise. And it is, in fact, the final few minutes of the sunrise. But don't worry because I'll be here for like 4 minutes more. So don't worry, all right? I'm here to make sure that you're updated on the very latest. So please do get in touch with me. Text me, call me, let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know what you're thinking as well because I want to hear what your thoughts are, right? I want to hear what you have to say with regard to the very latest that is happening, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the entire world as well. All right. So don't actually forget to do that. Don't forget to get in touch with me and share your thoughts with me as well. However, now let's actually head back into our conversation because earlier we were talking about, this how the United Kingdom is actually spending much more money on policies that policies rather that contribute to greenhouse gas emissions than actually saving the planet, than actually preserving the planet. All right. And now we're going to be talking about, rewilding and why exactly rewilding is going to help. Right. So to put it quite simply, rewilding is basically when you just let a specific area of land grow the way it was, or go back to its natural state before there was any human activity on it, right? And essentially what you're doing through this is that you're bringing back some of those plant and animal populations that lived in that area. And how that's such a good thing is that it's essentially going to help our climate, right? So according to recent research, according to some analysis that has been done, rewilding just 5% of England can actually create nearly 20,000 jobs, right? And this is 20,000 jobs in rural communities, and it can also increase employment by 50%, right? And this is in comparison to intensive farming, right? Because if you do the same thing with intensive farming, you're probably not going to get that same amount of jobs and that same amount of increase in employment. And this is just one way which we can help our planet, in which we can help fight climate change as well, right? Now, hybrid roles in animal husbandry and ecology, even positions in nature tourism and specialist roles in species and reintroductions could actually be among some of these new jobs that are going to be created. Now, the coolest thing about this is that the coolest thing about this is we can create this whole new field of nature tourism, right? And this is not something that hasn't existed. It's just something that's not essentially popular, right? And if you actually think about it, where they're only scratching the surface in terms of nature-based tourism, all right. And that's why it's very, very important for us to try and do the very best that we can in terms of rewilding England, in terms of making sure that England sort of goes back to that state where we can bring back some of the plant populations that we had, we can bring back some of the animal populations that we had, right? Now, this
analysis was actually done, or rather it was based on detailed surveys of 27 large rewilding sites in England, right? And this totaled to about 29,162 hectares of marginal land in the charity's network of estates, farms, and conservation areas. All right. And on these sites, positions of education, livestock management, and restoration activities were created. And according to analysis of the responses, alongside a ninefold increase in volunteering position, right? So this is how amazing it is. And that's pretty much all you have to do, right? If we can have more rewilding happening, if we can have more change happening, and more climate positive policies being taken, climate positive alternatives being followed, we can actually help our climate. We can actually deal with all of this chaos that we've caused to our planet. All right, it's just we need to start taking those steps. All right, now it's time for me to head out of here, but don't worry, because I will be back here on Monday, same time, same place, same frequency, and we will be talking about a lot of interesting things. So until then, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, but I also hope you have an absolutely amazing weekend. Okay, so get that rest that you deserve, and also make sure you rejuvenate yourself and finally get that break that you deserve. All right, and I really, really hope you have an amazing weekend.